Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Quest Show. I am sorry I am late. This is like every week. I'm saying I am sorry that I am late. This is what happens when there's no adult supervision or when I'm not on the podcast with Brian, the black and white show on Tuesdays at 8. He's very on time and direct. Um, when it's just me, I'm like, oh, what time is it? Oh no, it's time. And now I'm running around. But I am here. So, hello, everyone. I am Lana Quest, and this is the Quest Show. There's, I guess, a lot going on that we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to try to get it all in because I know you guys are anxious to go and see Trump's mugshot. Maybe they have already posted it. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty sure it looks something like this. I mean, like all of his pictures do. But anyway, before we get started, please like, share, subscribe to this channel, and all of that good stuff. And let's get it in. Let's talk about what's happening this week and just now. So it's interesting. I had a show on yesterday. Um, the Esteban Hour actually wasn't my show. I was a guest on the Esteban Hour last night. Tuesday, I did a show. My show, I'm a co-hosting with Brian Rundo, the Black and White Show. But this was a good time to do my show because what did I get? Trump got arrested today, so let's talk about it. Actually, I really don't have a lot to talk about. I mean, it's interesting because, there's like a special edition news on, and like they got him when he, touched down at the airport. And then it was almost like, remember the OJ chase on the expressway when he was just showing his Ford Bronco, like white Bronco on the expressway, and they had the wide shots, and they were just, that's how this felt. As like his motorcade, they're filming that as they're talking about it, like this is the first time in history, and blah blah blah. Like, trying to make it all salacious. Um, he gets to the jail. Like first, it's like it's the motorcade, and then it's like he gets there. We believe that Trump is inside of the jail. Then it's like Trump has surrendered. Like it's just so crazy. Trump has been fingerprinted. Yes, it's just been confirmed. Yes, Trump took a mugshot. Like, what in the world? Like, this is just so. I mean, I understand America that uh this is like this is history. I get it. And I also get that this is something that, a year ago we didn't think was going to happen, right? Like none of us thought like this is never going to happen. Trump is never going to be held accountable. But lo and behold, Trump is he's actually not accountable until, there's a guilty verdict, but at least there's a start of accountability. So, I'm with that. That is cool with me. But it's like we are just I don't know. Maybe because there's just so many at this point. It's like, oh my God, he's in Florida documents case. He's DC. What was he charged with in DC? I can't even remember. It wasn't the insurrection, but it was the J6 case. He was charged with some conspiring to do some stuff. Um, and then it was like paying off Stormy, and that's in New York. Now we have Georgia. Like you can't even keep up with the nonsense anymore. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just one of those people who I love to see it, but I just don't need to hear about it as just a constant thing, like it's the line by line. That's what it is. It's like I could do without the line by line, play by play of what's going on. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, he's in a jail. There's a mugshot. Let's keep it pushing. Just keep it pushing. No, there was not a lot of fanfare out there, which Trump thought he was going to get because I guess apparently Trump got on Truth Social and put the address of the jail, which yeah, and it's public. This is where the jail. You want to go down to the Fulton County Jail? Go right ahead. So he put the address, so that he could have like his ticker tape parade. He probably thought as he was driving there, there'd be all these people on the sidelines, like cheering, I know, there's probably 10 people out there with paper signs, Trump, we believe everything you say. Like it's just and it's another thing. It's so weird. It's like you talk to them, they're like, no, we believe everything he says. Like, just who does that on even if it's not Trump, everything is stranger, like everything a stranger tells them. You're actually saying that? Like, that's just a bizarre thing to even admit to. So, Trump has been arrested. His bill, I believe, was $200,000. So, he has some special bond company that he's using. I don't know why, I don't understand, but, you pay 10% of that, and he's out and he's free to go back. Like it's just a quick trip in. He's just a quick turnaround because he was not trying to be hanging out in Fulton County. So he's on his way back to wherever the hell. I don't even know if he was coming from Florida or Bedminster in Jersey. Not sure where he came from. Of note, which was very interesting to me. So me and Brian Rundo from the Black and White Show, we get on Tuesday. We took a little bet. Brian, you're probably not watching me now, but we did have a bet on what Trump's weight would be. Don't get me wrong, I am not weight shaming anyone, but I am shaming Trump because you know why? We all know how paranoid he is about his weight. We know how vain he is, and I'm not sure why he's vain, but he is vain. We do know that. We put a wager on his weight. I I said 289 at 6'1", and I think Brian said 303 or something like that. So if you look at the court documents, it actually says that, Trump has strawberry blonde hair, which it kinda is not strawberry blonde, like, where is the strawberry blonde? It's kinda like faded straw. Like, that's the color of his hair. But here's the kicker. He says he's 6'3", and it says that he's 215 pounds. Seriously, 6'3" and 215 pounds. No, he is not 6'3" because we determined when remember when he was the president and, like, Ronnie Jackson was his doctor, and he came out and said, "Oh, Trump was gonna live until he was, like, 200 years old," and, like, I think they told that lie back then that he was, like, 215 pounds and 6'3", and then they compared Trump to, like, an NBA player. It was like, he's not 6'3", he's, like, 6'1", and he's definitely not 215 pounds. So let's put this in perspective. And again, I am not weight shaming. I don't care how much anybody weighs. But Donald Trump, we're gonna shame the devil because he sucks. Dwayne Wade is 6'4", and he weighs 220 pounds. So how in the world is he weighing more than Donald Trump? How does Dwayne weigh 220 pounds? Did I say 220 or 240? Dwayne Wade weighs 220 pounds. I am sorry. How is Donald Trump 215 and Dwayne Wade 220 pounds? How is that? How are they in the same vicinity? It doesn't even make any sense. It just makes no sense. Donald Trump has a steady diet of hamburgers and ketchup and Coke. So we know it's a lie. Like, and then that's even the funny thing. Who lies while they're getting arrested about their weight? That's what's so who is thinking about their weight while they're getting arrested? That's why you see people's mugshots, they be looking all crazy. Why? Because no one's like, "Mm, mugshot." Like, who's doing just oh my god. Anyway, that happened, and not only, that, throughout the week, I'm not sure who we're still waiting for to turn themselves in. Whoever it is, they got until tomorrow afternoon to do that, but everyone else, Howell Ray Smith, Jenna Ellis, Mark Meadows turned himself in today, I believe, although he was trying to not turn himself in today, he kinda wanted an extension. He's like, "Oh, can I get an extension because I'm trying to get this thing, moved out of the state court into the federal court because, I was doing everything I did was my duty, is a part of my job, and I'm a federal agent. I work for the government at the time, so it's a part of my job, so you cannot charge me in state. This is what his argument is, but, it was not part of your job to create fake electors. That's not part of your job. Yeah, part of your job had nothing to do with the electors. This is at the state level, so why are you even making phone calls about these people? So anyway, he did, file a motion to have the case removed from state court to federal court. I cannot remember, when that's going to be heard by the judge. I don't know why I keep thinking August 28th, but I don't know if that is correct because I actually think that's the date the DC judge meets again, so they're all colliding for me right now. But he is trying to get the case moved. So are other people under the same premise, and if it works for anyone, it may work for Mark Meadows. It definitely would not work for Trump because, like, this really was not in line with any presidential doing, so stop playing right now. You're gonna stay right here in state court. Uh, Rudy Giuliani turned himself in. Again, these days are all clashing together for me. So I believe Rudy turned himself in today, or it could have been yesterday. I don't know. His mugshot don't look pretty though. And also, Rudy, because he is, I guess they say he's broke. He flew on a private jet to get there, but they said he's broke. Obviously, he's been begging Trump for money, and Trump hadn't been answering those phone calls, but all of a sudden, Trump answered the phone call, and they're gonna have a little fundraiser. I forgot how much a plate was, $100,000? I don't know, something crazy. They're having a fundraiser to keep Rudy out of jail. Pay his this is just so like, how low Rudy has always been a jerk, like a racist and a bigot. Everyone called him, like, America's mayor or something like that after 9/11, but, there was stop and frisk. He was just doing all kinds of nonsense in New York. We just didn't know about it, but this isn't like this is not Rudy hooking up with Trump and Trump turning Rudy into a criminal, lying criminal. That I don't that's not no. It was always there. It was always there. Rudy was probably already on the take. He just was. Stop playing right now. So anyway, it's fall from grace. If he was ever at grace, they just seem to think he's fallen from grace, but I don't think he fell from no damn grace. He's just falling and he keeps falling. So that's where Rudy Giuliani is. Apparently, Jenna Ellis is having some issues, crazy Jenna. She can't pay her bills either. I think they said she's doing GoFundMe. She's being very vocal about not being helped. And he's not gonna help any of these low players, right? Like, he's not gonna help them. And Bonnie knows that, and that's it's not gonna be 18. It's gonna dwindle down. She's not gonna charge all these people at one time because it's gonna dwindle down because these people are gonna start flipping because they cannot afford to pay these legal fees. It's just not going to happen. Um, So that's that. Well, actually, Kenneth Cheesebro, who was another attorney who just, oh, what law license? Say, I don't want it anymore. Just take my bar license. We're just gonna rip it up right now and throw it away. It's another one of those guys. Like, what are you thinking? He asked for a speedy trial for some reason. Not sure. People are saying, analysts are saying, you know, he's trying to call Fonny's bluff and catch them off guard by asking for a speedy trial. But Bonnie was like, "Okay, let's set it up for October 23rd, 2023. Let's go. I'm ready." So I'm pretty sure now he's like, "Oh, shoot. I didn't know she was ready." But she said that she was ready. Back months ago when she said it was imminent, she was getting her ducks in a row, and she actually said, "I am ready to go right now." Not lying about this, she's ready to go right now. So now that a judge has to approve that. So we don't even know if that is going to happen October 23rd, but he did file a motion. Like, he didn't just put it on a Twitter or X or whatever it's called. No, he actually filed a motion for a speedy trial. So now everyone else is filing motions to get out of it. They don't want they wanna sever their case from his, because remember they're all charged together. So now they just want to be like, no, that dude wants to go October 23rd. We do not want to go that fast. So that's what's going on in that. So let's move on to that is enough about that man. Talk to me when he's in jail. What else? Oh, you know what, guys? I took one for the team. You're welcome. I watched. I watched the debate. Yes, I did. So I first started watching it. It had this video, anti-democrat anti-democratic video, you know, lies about the economy and what's going on, lies about Biden. I think I heard Hunter come out, like, it was some crazy video. Um, and then, this woman started singing some rendition of the national anthem that I think she thought was soulful, and it was just weird, and they really loved it, so that was weird too. And then they just popped up, and, like, the first things they started talking about was, like, abortion. That was, like, one of the first questions that they were asked about. Then they started lying about that. It was like, you know, Democrats want I don't know, at will abortion, like abortion at any time, um, 52-week abortions, it was just and then I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't do this." So I changed the channel, and then I was like, "You can do it, you can do it." Like, I had to talk myself to go back because it starts making you sick, because it's not even like I it's it's not simple disagreements, right? It's not like, okay, on abortion, they're saying, "Okay, you can have an abortion at, uh" 6 weeks, and we're saying 15 weeks. This is just an example. It's like they're saying such absurd like, it doesn't it's so ridiculous. An abortion at 52 weeks is murder. It's not an abortion. Like, who no one is doing that. It's like they're saying, yeah, they just, get up and then they decide they don't want no one is waking up after going, your first your second trimester. Now you're in the third trimester. You've gone through morning sickness, your hormones, all of your organs moving around. You have bonded with this baby, and then you're waking up in your ninth month, and you're like, you know what? I think I changed my mind. I have that abortion now. No one's doing that. That just doesn't even it's nonsense, and, like, it drives me and it grates my nerves that every single one of them say that, and, like, stupid MAGA Republicans, they believe that, like, how can you even believe something that is so outrageous? Like, if somebody was Trump's what? Trump was president. Trump was president. Was he, like, arresting people for killing their babies because they were having them at like, that it doesn't make sense. Now, are there the rare occasions where, women have to have late-term abortions? Absolutely, they do. Of course they do, because there is some testing that can only happen later in the pregnancy for birth defects, for Down syndrome, for neuro issues. Those things can only be tested later on in pregnancy. And oftentimes, not often, but sometimes women get some bad news that there are serious abnormalities that are developing in this child that maybe it won't be viable or, it will never be able to function or whatever the case is. So those are some hard decisions that, a parent has to make. It's never going easy. So that was the beginning of the things that they were talking about. What else did they do? Tim Scott, he cried about it. No woman should be able to do that because I want to save every baby's life. And he was just like, in his voice, just all the ridiculousness. So that happened. They were asked an interesting question. They were asked if they agreed with his decision not to turn over the election to Donald Trump. They kind of dodged it, but for the most part, they were like, yes, but it was like a quick yes, but Biden's weaponizing the government. That's how it was like. Yes, but Biden's weaponizing, right? So they made sure that they said that. A few interesting things that kind of like highlighted and made me happy about this. So, okay, let's start here. Haley actually got some type of strength from somewhere. And she actually said when they were talking about the national debt and talking about the economy, she actually blamed debt on Trump. Yeah, Nikki Haley did. Oh my goodness. I was surprised as well. She said that Donald Trump caused the debt by giving tax cuts to the wealthy. And she said, let's put blame where it belongs. I was like, oh, I don't like you, but good for you for telling some truth here tonight. And Republicans did not want to hear that. The audience didn't want to hear that, but she stuck with it, right? Good for her. Then you have Vivek Ramaswamy. Who is that guy? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know who Vivek is, but he is hella annoying, right? But I did like how he got pounced on by Haley and Pence because he had the nerve to kind of go into their area, right? Because you are as crappy as Pence is, as weird as he is, calling his wife mama or whatever he does. Um, yeah, he did. He knows some of the things, right? He's been in government, he's been a governor, so he kind of knows. Same with Nikki Haley, you know, she knows. So Vivek found himself talking about foreign policy. And foreign policy is a lot like Trump. It's like he's trying to move Ron DeSantis out the way and jock for that mini Trump position. He's like, you're not doing a good job at being mini Trump. Let me do it, right? Like, seriously, that's what he was trying to do. So Vivek pops up there, like, he just laughs. And he has this weird laugh. He's just like, he's trying to, maybe this is who he is. It's like he's almost trying to and don't notice that I'm a brown guy because I'm really like one of you guys. It's a weird thing, and it's like, "Oh, just." call Putin and, we'll settle this. Like, why can't Putin just have this land? Like, he just doesn't understand. He would let Putin take Ukraine. Like, why not? Then we just pull out and we handle our business. Just like it's so easy. What's the problem? What's the problem? Nikki Haley has to explain to him that's not how foreign policy works. Like the minute Pence and Nikki Haley, the minute that you stop and you give Ukraine to Putin, Putin's going to go right on past Ukraine and go right into Poland. Like he's going to feel like he can do anything. And now we're going to have another world war. And we're an ally. So now we have to jump into it. Ukraine is fighting this battle literally for all of us. But small minds don't get it. And Vivek, I don't know if his mind is small or he's just, again, trying to move Ron DeSantis out the way and say, hey, look at me. I am the mini Trump. So anyway, Nikki Haley was like, you don't know anything about foreign policy, and it shows. Mike Pence was like, what did Mike Pence say to him? He said something about we don't what did he say? Oh, it's not like an on-the-job training. We don't need any rookies. But it's true. And then Chris Christie told Vivek, you sound like a chat GPT. And that also was true. DeSantis, Mr. DeSantis there. The only time that I knew Ron DeSantis was at that Republican debate is when I heard someone mumble some stuff like leftist, radical left, woke. Oh, it's propaganda. Like that is when, like, oh shoot, Ron DeSantis is here. Because other than that, who is that guy? Where was he? Like, he didn't say nothing. He's just kind of like looking uncomfortable and weird and just couldn't wait to say the same stuff he says all the time. Radical left, the woke, the propaganda, indoctrinating our kids, like all of the stupid nonsense. What I did get out of the debate real quick, and which is really disturbing, but we should know that this is what they're trying to do. So this is why it's kind of important to watch the other side to kind of see, what are they talking about? It's really nothing new, but it's also very scary, right? Because they did ask them if Donald Trump is convicted, right? Not indicted. If he is convicted, would you still support him? Still vote for him? They all raised their hands except for Chris Christie and Asa Hutchinson. So Nikki Haley out there, doing all those warning shots and telling the truth about Trump, then raised her hand and said if he's convicted, she would vote. Pence too. What was the point? Pence, what was the point of saying, yeah, Trump lied? And I couldn't overturn this election. That's not what the Constitution said. Would you vote for him if he's convicted of it? Because they signed that stupid agreement? You're never like who would want any of these weak asses to be the president of the United States? How the hell could you stand up to Putin if you can't even stand up to the punk here in America? How does that happen? Well, what's the purpose of it? That is very telling because these are the people that are running for presidency on the Republican side are supposedly their best. I mean, we know better, right? But this is what they're telling Americans. Like these guys that you see on stage, this is the best of the best. But these guys that you see on stage said that they would vote for a convicted felon by the name of Donald Trump. That's disqualifying. How is that okay? But that's just what they offer us. It's a joke. The party is a joke. There's no policy. You got Vivek out there that it was a climate change question. He said it was wasn't true. There was no such thing as climate change. He said that 911 needs to be reinvestigated because he says the feds are the ones that ran the planes into the buildings. This is what he said. This was at a debate, conspiracy theories. That that is just it's unbelievable. One other thing that, Vivek said, he said that if he were president, which we know he's not going to be, but he said that he would, demolish the Department of Education. Uh, as you know, they've been trying to demolish the Department of Education since Donald Trump because he hired Betsy DeVos, and she was awful. So, if they keep talking about it, it's something that they're eyeing. There's something going on in the background. It was just the same thing with Roe, right? It kept coming up, and they would say the things just like they said, you know, they want a national abortion ban. Not in a vacuum, it's absolutely what they want to do. So, if they're talking about the Department of Education, and Vivek says he wants to demolish it, and of course, that's right up old Ron DeSantis's alley. He absolutely chimed in and was like, "Oh, yeah, we either need to demolish it or we need to use it to wage a war against wokeism and them indoctrinating our children." So, because that's the next step, right? No Black history, no gender ID, education, no Shakespeare, no factual history. We're gonna just put PragerU, in their falsifying of enslavement and what happened post-slavery, and slaves earn skills. They're gonna do that. They're gonna get rid of, again, state by state, because Sarah Huckabee uh, doesn't want AP African American Studies either. She's taking credit away from them. You can take it, but it doesn't mean anything because it's talking about race, diversity, inclusion. We cannot have that. We cannot talk about systemic oppression or systemic racism. We can't have that. Why can't we have that? We don't want the kids to learn that. You can't have a people learning about the things that you're doing to them. Right, because then they're gonna see you coming. They're gonna see you oppressing them. They're gonna be like, "Hey, this is systemic oppression. This is systemic racism. I know what this is. You can't do that to me, or I'm gonna file a lawsuit. You can't do that for discrimination." They don't want you to see it coming. They don't want these kids to see it coming. They don't want these kids to have empathy. They don't want these kids to know about diversity and inclusion. They don't want that. They want them boxed in. They want to continue to marginalize Black, brown, people of color, women, girls. They want to continue to marginalize them, leave them uneducated, so they just don't even know what's going on. And then you'll just vote for them because you'll have a whole 'nother group of young adults who will just listen to anything that they tell them without doing any critical thinking or looking anything up, and that's exactly what they want, and that's the thing that's, you know, the saddest here. We have to fight this because we have to fight this for the younger generation. Uh, Speaking of the younger generation and why we're fighting and why we do shows and all of this stuff, I do want to talk about, Mississippi. You probably already heard this story. Horrific story. Clarksville, Mississippi, a 13-year-old girl had gotten raped outside of her home. The little girl, I believe, is autistic, bipolar, has some communication problems, baseline communication problems. So whoever it was that raped her probably knew this about her, so she was not able to articulate a lot of, not even scream, right? Because it happened right outside of her home. She never told anyone. She never told her mom. She just kind of stayed in her room. In hindsight, of course, the mother, room, acting strange, whatever. And I guess it happened in the fall of 2022 is when the little girl was raped. The mother did not find out until I think it was around her 13th birthday. The little girl wasn't acting the same, and it was her birthday. She was crying, she didn't wanna leave her room, all of that stuff. Mom put 2 and 2 together, went to the doctor. The little girl did not speak, she just kinda went mute. 'Cause again, she had issues baseline, like I said, I think autism or one of those things. So she didn't even speak to the doctor and to find out that she, um, was pregnant right before starting the 7th grade. I'm not sure how far along she was, but she was far enough along when they found out that she could get an abortion. However, Clarksdale, Mississippi, she was not having an abortion. Um, there's a couple things here. I don't even know, it's like a lot of tentacles here, so let me just keep on with the story. So the mother did want to get her an abortion. Mississippi bans abortions, so the closest place for her to be able to have this medical procedure would have been, Chicago, Illinois. It was 9 hours away. Um, the mother could not afford now, see, and here's the thing, this is Clarksville, Mississippi, right? 9 hours away to me is just a no-brainer. I'm doing it. If it was 24 hours away, I'm driving it. I'm on the road gripping that steering wheel the whole time, have this taken care of. But everyone doesn't have the advantages that everyone else has, right? It's Clarksville, Mississippi. So then you have to think, because you can't just be like, "Well, why don't you drive the" it's only 9 hours, right? It's only 9 hours. It kinda is only 9 hours. I've driven 24 hours Alabama. But to someone who maybe does not have, a car that's the best that maybe can go that far, to someone who is living paycheck to paycheck and has to pay for their gas, who has to pay for food on the road, maybe has to pay to stop to when they get there, to get some rest, to sleep, to get a hotel, you know, just don't have the money, like, and I'm sure that it hurt that mother to the core that she could not do this for her kid, right? And that's the difference, and this is how these abortion bans are impacting Black and brown people and poor people the most because, if Tate Reed, the governor, his kid gets raped in Mississippi, he's driving no, he's not even driving. He's taking a private jet and going to Chicago to take his kid. So his kid is gonna get an abortion. But if you're living below the poverty, you can't take the time off of work because you'll get fired. You just can't afford to go. If you have other children, who's watching your other children? There's so much with this. It's awful. The tentacles of all of this. So now we have the 7th grader who's a mom, and then the grandmom who's a mom. Because who are we fooling? Now the grandmother has a child, another child to feed. Mississippi already has an issue with their welfare and how they divvy it up to people who are supposed to be having it. There are people in Mississippi that don't even have indoor plumbing, and this is how they treat their constituents because they never care. Don't care. Republicans don't care. It's not pro-life, it never how is that pro-life? How many lives just got ruined? A 7th grader. Now her mom works! How is she taking care of this baby? This is insane right now. She can't trust her 13-year-old with the baby. This is the impact of these stupid, ghoulish, sadistic laws. It's disgusting. And not only that, in Mississippi is an OBGYN desert. We don't even have OBGYN doctors near it's a desert. You have a few deserts with no that's Mississippi. That's why they're like highest maternal mortality rate. They're last in education, last in healthcare, but by all means, we're just gonna make women and girls have babies. But then we're gonna go, "But Chicago, but Baltimore, but New York." That's disgusting. Like, really, huh, Michelle? Like, really, that's disgusting. To make a 7th grader, a 13-year-old, have a baby is sadistic. And they just want to show whatever, teenager who doesn't wanna have a baby wants to go to school, they're like, "Hey, you're not mature enough. Is this 7th grader mature enough? Take me. You're the governor. This is okay? How is this okay? How's a 13-year-old okay?" But according to Republicans, I mean, she can have a baby, and then according to Republicans also, we're gonna loosen up the child labor laws, and she can just get a job, right? Who needs school? Who needs school? Just go to work, you know? Mississippi done lost so many people to COVID, they need a workforce, so we might as well start them young. And then, you know, they'll say, well, there's exceptions with rape. Th That's really not an exception, right? Rape, incest is not an exception when you're a child because children, one, they don't know when they're pregnant. She's 13. My mama said, "I didn't have that conversation because I thought she was too young." And she kinda is, so you're not really talking about your 13-year-old about sex and getting pregnant and having sex because 'cause you're not thinking about that. Republicans also fight having sex education in school. Because guess what? Maybe if kids had sex education in school, these things, well, she was raped, but they would understand what's going on with their bodies, maybe. She didn't know what was going on. She had no idea. So by the time a child even comes to grip with this maybe what's happening, it's going to be too late. They're not it's not something that you broadcast. Adults don't broadcast it when they're raped. Why would we expect a child to come and tell their parents that they've been raped? It doesn't go like that. It just doesn't. It doesn't. And man is so gross and disgusting that it's just like so matter of fact with it because they don't care because it's always about the power. So that's what happened in Clarksville, Mississippi. Hey, Michelle, did Trump's mugshot come out yet? Because it wasn't out when they started the show, so I'm pretty sure that it's out now. He also has his weight at 215, which we know that that is not true. So there is that. So that's Clarksville, Mississippi. What else did I want to talk about? We talked about the debate. We talked about Clarksville, Mississippi. It is 8:51. Yeah, Michelle, you popped on here late. Last thing that I am going to talk about, and then I'm going to go run and see Donald Trump's mugshot. Massachusetts, so proud of Massachusetts. Massachusetts has become the 8th state in the nation to permanently provide universal free school meals to public school children. Thank you, Massachusetts. The other states that permanently provide universal free school meals to children are California, Colorado, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, New Mexico, and Vermont, and now Massachusetts. How did we do it? Easy! Tax the rich! That's how we get things done, not the reverse. You tax the rich, not give them cuts, right? That's the difference between Republican states and Democratic states. Republican states, they give tax cuts to the rich, and then they want to cut our benefits. Tax cuts to the rich. I want to take your Medicare, Social Security. Tax cuts to the rich. No, you can't have student loan forgiveness. Tax cuts to the rich. Let's see. No, we're gonna cut the welfare. Y'all don't need it. Tax cuts to the rich. Who needs maternity leave? Like that's what they're doing. That's their modus operandi. That is how that thing happens. So Massachusetts, we voted on this too because I remember it was on the ballot. We voted to have a 4% tax on uh, the wealthiest residents in Massachusetts. All the voters approved. And now look at God. Children can eat breakfast before they start learning. And it's interesting because they had done this in Massachusetts under the pandemic waivers. So for a couple where the charter schools were doing it even before the pandemic, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that they were using something in their budget at my kids' charter school where they were getting free breakfast at least. They were getting that because breakfast is the most important part of the day. And oftentimes kids are leaving the house very early. Like me, we leave at 6:30 in the morning. Nobody is eating that early in the morning. So them providing a free breakfast in the morning when you're up that early is golden, and the kids can start, and then they're getting the snacks, and then they're getting the lunch. So kudos to Massachusetts. Governor Maura Healey signed that, so kudos to our new governor, Maura Healey, for doing that for us. Let's talk about what the Republicans are doing, since we talk about what Democrats are doing. Republican budget cuts, because I was just telling you they love to cut them budgets. Republican 2024 budget cuts. Now this is from Republicans. I'm not making this up. I swear. Um, Cutting Social Security and Medicare. They want to make tax cuts for the top 1% permanent. Told you they love to cut taxes from the rich. They want to impose work requirements on all federal benefit programs. Like we don't already have that because you just can't be on welfare and not work. They want to extend work requirements on 55 to 64-year-olds. So it's almost like they never want you to retire early. They just don't. I don't care if you've been working. And that's the funny thing, right? So they want to loosen child labor laws, right? So they want to get your kids working at like 13 years old in meat factories, and then they want to have them working for like 13 all the way until like 65. There's no early retirement. They want to change that. They want to extend the work requirements. Do you hear what I'm saying to you right now? They don't want, but meanwhile, they do what they want to do. Who's voting for these people? What is wrong with y'all? This can't be a thing. Oh my God. And they want to bring back Trump's regulations and weaken the environmental protections. It's like they just want to kill us. Oh my God. It's like who votes for these people? I can't. So that's their budget cuts. And it's so funny watching that debate last night. And it's like they're talking and saying just lies, and these people they boo when you talk about the Constitution of America, but they're patriots right now. The audience booed, but they clap when they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll vote for Donald Trump if he's a convicted felon." They clap at that. Like so, literally, who are these voters? It's unbelievable. What else they vote against? They vote against free school, but states have provided them anyway. Respect for Child Survivors Act, protecting victims of child abuse. It passed, right? Because there was enough of Democrats to pass it, and the Republicans, but some Republicans voted against Respect for Child Survivors Act, protecting kids from child abuse. But they are pro life. against early hearing detection, protecting newborns with hearing issues. Voted against this. I looked this one up. 17 Republicans voted against that bill. It passed. 17 Republicans voted against that bill, but they say they're pro-life because it's not pro-life, they're pro-birth. They just want to control birth. They want birth. They want you to birth babies. They don't care about anything else. They don't care if your baby comes out deaf. We don't care. As long as you got a baby, you gotta take care of it. We don't care how you take care of it. You figure it out. We don't care. And they voted against the Pump Act. The Pump Act it requires workers to have access to a non-bathroom pump space so that women don't pump in the bathroom, but you have to provide them with an actual space so that they can pump. And you also have to give them breaks so that they can pump. Guess who voted against it? Republicans voted against it, but they want women to be pregnant. But they don't even want to give you maternity leave. They don't even care if you are able to pump. Like they don't care. They're working against you on all levels. So I don't understand how anyone is voting for these ghouls. Like, and they're not hiding any of it. It's just really it's just a sad and pathetic thing. It's just really sad what the Republican Party has become. It's okay to have disagreements, but this right here is like I, just watching that Republican debate was just insanity. It really was insane. They were just saying the craziest of the craziest things, every single one of them. Denying climate change, denying that 9/11 happened, uh, Democrats and aborting babies at full term. Like, it's just, I'm like, what in the world? There's just no pushback, just a nothing. Like, oh my, thank God it's only a small group of people that believe all of this. I hope everyone is paying attention. I know Gen Z people are very upset about this climate change because it is just as real can get. I don't know why they're still denying it, but if Republicans take office again, they're going to deregulate. They're going to take money from fighting climate change. We're going to be behind the eight ball again, and they really don't care because they think short term. As long as they get paid short term, that's all that matters to them. The hell with the rest of us, and that's pretty sad. But it is, I think it's 8 o'clock. Oh, 9 o'clock. Oh yeah, it's 9 o'clock. I know, Michelle. It does not make sense, girl. Did they have the MugShot? Did that happen? I just want to see it. Anyway, I am out of here. I did it. Michelle, next Thursday, come a little earlier, please. We will talk then. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. I don't know, anything else good coming up next week? Oh, it is the DC hearing. That is next. Is it next Friday? Come on, y'all. Wait a minute. I think the DC hearing is next week, possibly, right? No? Is it Friday or Monday? I thought it was the 28th. Oh, his mugshot is out. Oh, yeah, I gotta go. I know. I know it looks like. Can't wait to see it. Have a good weekend, guys. I will see you next Thursday. I am going to check out some mugshots. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Thanks, Michelle.